Shavua Tov. Shabbat is just finished not too long ago, and I was just beginning to study the new PARSHA that we're coming into, PARSHA TOLDOT, and I came across a commentary from the Ben Ishchai, and I was really amazed at what he said of one of the verses in this PARSHA, in Bereshis 26 verse 13, and it says in Bereshis 26:13, it says Vayigdal Haish Vayelech Haloch Vegadel Ad Ki Gadal Meod. The man became great and kept becoming greater until he was very great. And the Ben Ishchai, he comments on this, and he gives a couple explanations, but this last explanation he comments about is extraordinary. He says an explanation for the words Vayigdal Haish is the gematria. Is the gematria of Haish, the man, equals 316, which is a remez to the 315, the sparks of Kedusha plus 1 for Imha Kolel. These are 7 times the numerical value of Adam. Adam is the value 45, and the above sparks need to be selected and elevated, he says. The phrase Vayelech Haloch Vegadel Ad Ki Gadol Meod. He grew constantly until he was very great. And Meod has the same letters as Adam to mean he grew to the point of becoming Adam Shalem, complete person. In addition, the letters of Meod are the first letters of Adam, David, and Mashiach. Adam, David, Messiah. Since all three are included into each other, and when the tikkun is completed, they will become bigger, and then the Mashiach will come. May it be his wish to be speedily in our days. Amen. I thought that was amazing that he says, he puts this, the man became very great, and he puts it to Haish, the man, and he says that he becomes greater, meaning complete man. And what's amazing is we're learning in this parsha as well, Parsha Toldot, that in the beginning of this parsha we see that Rivka has twins in her womb. It says in chapter 25, verse 22, it says, Vayis reitzesu habanim berivcha vatomer im kin lama ze anochi vetelech ledrosh es Hashem. And the children crushed within her, and she said, if so, why is it that I am? And she went to inquire of Hashem. And it talks about the 2 nations within her womb, which we know is Esau and Yaakov. And Hashem says the older will serve the younger, and we see later on that Esau sells his birthright, and even further, Rivka clothes Yaakov and disguises him in the disguise of Esau to deceive Yitzhak. And that's later on in chapter 27, I believe, 27:16. But the Ben Ishchai talks about the complete man, and the Baal HaTurim describes Esau when he's born. It says in the Baal HaTurim quotes chapter 25, verse 24, and it says here, when a term to bear grew full, then behold, there were twins in her womb. The first one emerged red. It says Vayetze Harishon Admoni, and He emerged red and entirely like a hairy mantle. So they called his name Esau. And Baal HaTurim quotes Admoni, red, and he says the Masoretic note, bet, means that this word appears twice in the Tanakh. And he says Vayetze Harishon Admoni, the first one emerged red, and it quotes Vehu Admoni im Yafet Anaim, and he was red with fair eyes. He's quoting 1 Samuel 16:12 regarding David when the prophet Samuel saw that David was red. He said, perhaps he is a shedder of blood like Esau. Whatever he does is with the agreement of the members of the Sanhedrin, the high court, and who are called eyes, as it is said, if from the eyes of the assembly. And he's quoting Numbers 15:24. And also the commentary Shanei Lucho Habrit, it quotes as well David, and it kind of expounds on this. It says, we read in Samuel 16:12 that David is described as ruddy-cheeked, bright-eyed, and handsome. The first person to be described as Admoni was Esau. It is therefore hardly a compliment to David to be similarly described. The essential difference is that where Esau was had an evil eye, represented all that was negative associated with the eye, David was the reverse and is therefore described as fair eyes, beautiful eyes. In David's case, the positive aspects of eyes are meant. The prophet therefore describes him as good. Solomon, who says in Kohelet 10:8 that he who breaches the fence will be bitten by a snake, may have referred to David's forebear Peretz, whom the Torah had described as bursting out. And that's in Genesis 38:29. The Nachash referred to is the power of Esau. King Shaul repaired the fence partially when he defeated the Nachash, king of Ammon, who went to war against Israel, as reported in 1 Samuel 11:1. David also accomplished a great deal in this area during his reign. In the future, as the Messiah, however, he will take revenge on the forces of Esau in the manner of a serpent, as we know from Isaiah 14:29, for from the root of a snake there sprouts an asp. And that's pretty amazing, because 316 equals many things in the Gematria. And Esau, Yaakov disguises himself as Esau in front of his father Yitzhak. And the Ben Ish Chai quotes that Haish equals 316, and it's talking about the man, the great man. And he's a complete person, even referring to the Mashiach. And it's interesting because the Baal HaTurim says that when Esau was, when it says when her term to bear grew full, the Baal HaTurim says his name was Esau. He was called this because he was Asui, made fully and complete. Interesting, when you reverse those letters around, it spells something about a man. And this is complete. And right now, the man isn't complete until he's back where he's supposed to be. And this is the job of the Mashiach. The job of the Mashiach is to look like Esau, to gather the sparks in the klipa. He's supposed to bring them back and draw them to holiness. And this is the job of Mashiach. You see, and Esau. So it's interesting. Even Esau, the gematria of his name is 376, which is equal to that of Shalom, peace. And it says where Esau's name is not identified with peace, he would be destroyed. He would have destroyed the world. Interesting. Esau has his name changed in this parsha to Edom. And Edom and Esau, all Judaism knows, is associated with Rome. And even the Ramchal puts this together. Ramchal quotes in Isaiah 63:1. He says, I will explain to you a sod, which is completely sealed, and it concerns what is written. Who is this that comes from Edom? This is the Zedek, and he is the Mashiach ben Yosef. And there's many more aspects to all of this, but you see, Mashiach had to clothe himself in Esau, which means he looks unkosher on the outside, but in the inside, he really is kosher. Just like Moshe was in exile, he was in Mitzrayim, and so was Yosef, and they looked Egyptian. They didn't look kosher, but inside they were. Inside they were. And this is the job of Mashiach ben Yosef. And so I just thought that was interesting. I never seen that in the Ben Ish Chai. There's so much more to all of this with the names of Jacob and Esau in between it, all of these things. But this is just amazing. I had to share it just off of the spot. And thank you for listening. May Mashiach arrive soon, speedily in our days.